How to tell if your real estate agent is a fake. This is a spicy one. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up. Good morning. Good morning.
How are ya?
Good. Yeah, this is a really, really spicy topic, this one. How
Yep.
are you?
You're pretty good with the cows.
How nice. Wow.
Kangaroo.
Wow,
Good
wow, wow.
kangaroo
What a
fit
morning.
there.
I feel relaxed just looking at it. How beautiful is that?
It's good. Just at a
Mark, I
mate's
just want to,
farm.
how nice. How
Mm.
nice. We're going to talk about that in a sec because you're not just at a mate's farm. We'll come back to that, Mark, because you guys are
Okay.
doing a big,
So-
a big,
We'll save
big
what we're here.
cook-off.
Why we're here till the end, we'll save it. But this is a juicy one, Lise. Whenever you choose a topic for Fridays, it's always when I see the title, I'm always like, "Ooh, this one's a little bit delicate."
It's
This is a delicate one.
It's contentious. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you how this one came about. Obviously, it's just talked about all the time, isn't it? Real estate agents, how they can't be trusted, et cetera, et cetera. It is a big topic. But we were out for dinner with some friends on Monday night, and these guys had just purchased a property off a really, really well-known real estate agent. And I was like, oh, that's beautiful, beautiful property, luxury property. And I was like, wow. And how was that agent to deal with? And he said to me, oh, I don't know. I never met him. I said, what do you mean you never met him? I said, you bought the property off him. He goes, yeah, no, I never met him. Never came to an open, never spoke to me on the phone. I was pretty much dealing with his assistant the whole time. And guys, this is a luxury home in a very well-known area. And I was like, wow, that's really quite incredible. What, he never called you, no part of the negotiation? He was like, no part, never saw him at an open. No. I was like, very interesting. And it really didn't leave a great taste in his mouth. So I just wanted to, I wanted to put the spotlight on this, Mark, and draw some attention to it. We're always talking about, and look, don't get us wrong, guys. There are so many great agents in the industry. That is not what we're talking about today. We're certainly not going to be naming names, but we do want to talk about how to spot the fakes in an industry. I think it's a good topic. What do you reckon, Mark?
It's juicy. And look, I think that's the art of, I think, as a consumer, when you're a landlord or when you're a vendor, most part of the job is listening to the pitches and choosing the agent based upon what they're telling you. So we wanted to arm people up a little bit today as to what they're not telling you, because that matters as well.
And how to spot them. There are some ways, and I've even written a list. So are you all right if I start to go through this, Mark, and we can just discuss each item?
I'm all right, Lise.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Number one, guys. Number one, for what? So every agent, so many agents claim, good morning, Brendan. I actually was texting Brendan this morning. I said, you're going to love this topic. You need to tune into it. Funny story on that, actually, how Brendan and I met as well. We met over the fact that Brendan was just so sick and tired of real estate agents. I ended up selling him a property, and we've had this wonderful friendship, I guess you can call it, ever since. That was about, I reckon, 4 years ago now. But guys, number one for what? This is interesting because a lot of agents claim that they're number one. Now, you've got to ask, what are they number one for? So there's a review platform in our industry, and some agents are just great at collecting reviews.
Yep.
Now, they then claim the title of being number one because they've got the most amount of reviews.
It becomes a sport. The sport probably becomes one of their main activities.
This is true. This is true. There's also a and again, I'm not naming names, guys, but there's also, there's a lot of awards out there now in real estate world. There's, and a lot of them are, promoting, number one in the industry, number one property manager, number one for sales, number one innovator of the year. But there's just hundreds of them now. I feel like our industry's saturated with these awards. So I feel like everyone's number one for something.
Yeah, and I think consumers have got to know, and not a lot of people are business owners compared to consumers, but in the majority of award systems, they require the submission of the award winner. And sometimes that's all they require, and they'll base their award on that submission. Often businesses are not submitting themselves to that award system, so you're not equally, it's not like when you have a product review online, they've picked all the best products and then reviewed them. But suddenly that's very different with industry awards because it's based on the submission that the agent makes, if the agent makes a submission.
Yeah, did ChatGPT write the submission? Like, that's an example.
Yeah.
That's an example. So, how do you determine whether or not your agent is actually number one, if it even matters to you? But, the great thing is these days, or our industry is just so transparent. You can go onto realestate.com. You can actually type in, there's a little tab up the top that says agents. You can type in an area. So you could put in DY, and you could there determine who actually has really sold the most amount of properties in the area. If that matters to you, right? That doesn't matter to everyone. But I'm often saying to my clients, why is that important to you that I'm number one in your area? Because it means that I'm dealing with the most amount of buyers in the area.
Yep.
Because what I find is, and how does that matter to the client? So that's nice for the agent, but how does that matter to the client? Really easy to find out, guys. If it matters who number one is in the area or across Sydney or in the country or in the world, there's ways that you can find that out.
Yep. Watch the reviews and watch the
Number
awards.
2. Is the agent that you signed up with actually turning up to open homes?
That's a big one.
Yeah.
A pretty obvious question I would have thought a client would ask an agent. Yes, I'm employing you. Am I employing you for all functions, some functions? I'm not saying it's bad if the agent doesn't turn up, but you want to know as a consumer, and it may be really important. You may have had a bad experience with that. So you've got to be asking that question because you think you're employing the gun and you get the handle.
And I like that. And you know what? Some vendors, it does matter, and some vendors, it doesn't. But if you are one of these vendors and it does matter to you, and you've got your real estate agent going, oh, absolutely, I'm going to be at every single one of your open homes, and the agent has never turned up, like our friend that I mentioned at the beginning of the segment, they had a top agent who they purchased off, and they never even met them. They never came to a single open home. The best way to do that is, guys, you just go to the open homes. Or you can certainly get friends to turn up to the open home. It's a really, really easy way to determine whether or not your agent is turning up to the open homes. You can ask for a video as well. Hey, guys, would you mind just doing a video while you're at my open home?
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
So very, very...
I think there's a fair bit of honesty in the industry, and you can actually just genuinely ask the question, and they'll genuinely tell you. Yeah.
Well, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? It just comes down to good old-fashioned honesty. Responsiveness. So how many times, I mean, look, I know myself, Mark, I will email off to agents an email inquiry just to find out what pricing is on certain properties if I'm bringing something similar on. And if I put an email inquiry through on, let's say, a Saturday afternoon, I may not hear back from that agent until Tuesday at the earliest.
How do you gauge that when you're choosing your agent that you're not going to get that service on your own place?
Put an email inquiry through. So I still find, I must admit, I find email inquiries somewhat barbaric. I think I probably move at lightning speed because of my social media or my, just how instantaneous that is. But And look, we can get, I mean, at the moment, I must say, we've been getting up to sort of 150 inquiries coming through a day.
Yep.
These email inquiries, 99% of the time, are answered within 10 minutes
In our agency, it's incredible. It's
within
incredible.
our agency.
But
So,
how long do you want to wait as a consumer? You don't. If you
no.
you want the answer now. You don't want to wait. If you have to wait, you have to wait. But you don't want to wait.
Yeah, look, people, these days we are very, very impatient creatures. As humans, we just don't like to wait for anything, and
No.
I'm saying it often. If you think about how, we order an Uber or compared to how we used to order taxis and how we order food these days on Uber Eats, you'll order food determined by how fast that food can be at your door as opposed to what
Yep.
you feel like. So our
Yep.
expectations have changed dramatically. What's normal? I think, we are speedier than the industry norm, but I would expect that you should hear back from that agent at least within a couple of hours.
Yep.
Now,
All
it's
right.
a really easy way to do the test.
And these are big number transactions. It's not like you're ordering milk. This is something that's significant to the owner. So the person representing that sale, you want that response time. To give you an equal and opposite example, if you have to wait 5 days or you don't hear back from that agent that you've inquired on, it leaves a bad taste on the agent, on the agency, and also you probably become even vigilant against the property. You're like, you know what? I've left 2 or 3 messages for that agent for that property. Screw that. You know what I mean? So then it starts affecting the client.
Look, buyers will literally just move to another property.
Yeah.
They'll fall in and out of love with a property very quickly. So
Yep.
responsiveness is a massive thing. It's an enormous thing, and it's very, very easy to test because you can just simply send an email through. Again, get a friend to do it, set up an email account, whatever it takes, but
Yep.
test your agent and see
Yep.
how they're going to treat your buyers.
Secret shopper, your agent for responsiveness.
Secret shopper.
100%. We better move quickly because we've got a lot on this list to go through, Elise.
Yeah, we're good. Social media. So, agents saying, yeah, we do social media. Again, it's just such a transparent platform, isn't it? What are they doing on their socials? Are they talking more about themselves than they actually are about, maybe the industry, what's going on in real estate, and you and your property? So what are the agents actually, how are they promoting themselves on social media, and the way they're actually performing on social media, is it really who that agent is as well? These are really easy things, guys. Again, it's a very, very transparent platform.
Well, every agent in Australia does social media. I'm sure when they walk into a presentation, if a client says, "Is my property going to be on Facebook?" Hey, yeah. But I like the difference with national broadcasting channels. Are you going to advertise the commercial on channel 7, 9, or 10? Or are you advertising the property? So Facebook's like television, and the big channels for people are dependent on locality, industry, and stuff like that. So someone like yourself has got an incredible, wonderful following, national and local. So it's quite powerful when you actually put a property up. But an agent who's just signed up for Facebook, and when they put a property up in the same fashion, 2 completely different results. And that's the difference, is your agent doing social media properly? Are they posting once a week, once a month, once a day, or you're doing like 10 or 15 posts a day? You've got a really good following and channel that you're running.
But, and also, is it just static photos, or is it actually good video content? I had a very well-known identity yesterday contact me. They're interested in the property that I have.
Bill Clinton.
Not Bill Clinton, no. They can't make it along to the open home, but they did say to me, "Have you got a video that you could send me?" And I said, "Absolutely, I do." And I said, "Look, it's very raw and it's very authentic, but at least you're going to see the property, warts and all. There's not like all these smokes and mirrors of the slow walking real estate agent walking through a property." Again, is it more about the agent, that kind of stuff, or is it more about the property?
Well, I think it's just it's the same thing on a different piece of media. If you're getting photos and beautiful floor plan and beautiful photos on realestate.com, well, if I'm moving to social media, I could have found all that stuff on realestate.com. So
Yeah.
seeing that, being able to dig deep dive and dig deeper with videos and content and feedback on that particular property, that's gold.
But I also love the fact that just with that, and just like a tiny bit off topic here, but it's the great thing is that there is absolutely no hiding it. When I'm walking in with my camera, with my phone, and I'm videoing a property, like, there was a tenant that was moving out the other day. It really didn't present well. But, that buyer yesterday who contacted me, he was so grateful that he actually got to see it in the raw. Because sometimes what can happen is a buyer will turn up to an open and go, this is nothing like what it looks online. Like, what an
Yep.
absolute waste of my time.
Yep.
And that's what I love about the
People
video
know.
content that we do.
People know. Look, Francois just sold the property for her. Lovely lady.
Hey,
Which,
Francois. As
you
soon
know
as I
it's
saw your
real.
face, I knew you were
Oh, yeah.
real.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
look at that face, Francois. Look at that face.
The country face.
Like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. What are agents saying about other agents?
Oh, this is spicy. I think, you know what? It doesn't change from kindergarten to high school, to work to being grandparents, being in your 70s. What you say about other people is just what you say about other people. Be careful.
Be real careful. So, and look, it's just, to me, it is just the absolute height of unprofessionalism.
Yeah.
I am just about to sign up one of the most incredible houses on the Northern Beaches.
Ooh.
And the vendor actually said to me the other day, you didn't even ask about the competition. And I said, because it's none of my business. That's your business. That's not my business. It's just, and it's true. It's not my business. It's irrelevant who I'm up against. I had sold a property, Mark, last Saturday, a beautiful house, and we got a phenomenal price for it at auction.
Sure
And
did.
at the beginning of that campaign, an agent, a well-known agent in the area, had sent my vendor a message saying, mate, good luck with the campaign. I saw you going with Lisa Novak. Let me know if you need my help, mate, because she does those very awful, unprofessional videos. Apparently, they like go out to the world. And anyway, I was privy to this text message, and I just thought, wow, that's just so unprofessional and such bad form. So, as I said, be careful, guys, about the way you represent yourself. It really does say a lot about you. It certainly does.
And again, when you're choosing an agent, I think that's you may find that helpful. You may find that absolutely detrimental. It's clients have that free choice, but I think agents, what I like to do is just focus on our products and our service, and how that is superior to anything else in the marketplace. But I certainly don't say they don't do that, they don't do that, they don't do that, they don't do that, and for this reason, that doesn't work or that does work. I think you got to keep that client front of mind, that it's products and services that you're offering better.
I agree. And I must say, even when prompted, Mark, if I'm in an appraisal, even when prompted, I absolutely will not say anything. It's just a blanket rule for me. It's just remain professional. I'm super confident of the product that I offer as an agent and we offer as an agency, and that's all that matters. Commission. I want to just talk about commission, because the agent that comes in and offers a really, really cheap commission.
Yes. Why are they doing that?
Why are you offering a cheap commission? The other day I was asked, the standard in our area, I would say the standard in our area is about 1.85 plus GST. That's the standard.
Yep.
Right? Would you agree, Mark?
Yep.
Okay. The other day I was asked if I would do a 1.2% commission, including GST.
Yeah.
Guys, be really careful about this. The agent that is offering the cheap commission, don't ask the other agent if they will do the same. You need to ask the agent that's offering the cheap commission, why are they so cheap?
Yep.
That's the thing that I find concerning.
And I think the mission that you're trying to achieve, that it is so much more important than the cost. And it's just so important. Like, you're talking $1 million of stakes, or $500,000, or $1.5 million, and that person that is leading that charge for you. You want to be just the best, and because if they nail it, they're going to nail it. They're going to get you an extra 50. Right, between a good agent and a bad agent, 50, 100 grand, whatever that is, and you're worried about a couple of grand in commission. I get there's a range, and you don't want to be double of that, but certainly I wouldn't be. I think choosing the cheapest, it's trouble. Why?
But guys,
Why?
can I just say on that, when you are ticking the boxes of all the things that I've just mentioned there in that list, when you are ticking those boxes, I called Lisa, she answered her phone. I sent her an email, she responded to me within the hour. I saw what she's doing on social media, and then I met her, and it was the same person. She listed that property and she got a great result. When you're starting to tick all these boxes, the commission becomes irrelevant.
Well,
like going to a wonderful restaurant who is just giving you the best meal of your life. Everything was just great. You're going to tip accordingly. And it's the same thing with commission. Same.
Yeah. Look, I think the bottom line is, it just, those stakes that are so high that I think commission's still important, but I think it falls down that list. All of these things you've talked about today are going to put more money into the client's pocket. Fact. So I think those things are more important than just the commission.
Yep, agreed. Fact. I agree with that, Mark. Absolutely fact. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Again, I decided 5 years ago, when I decided to launch into sales, I was like, I am absolutely going to nail these things. I'm going to nail the speed of service. I'm going to nail how I look after people, how I'm going to remain being true to myself, social media, all these things. So, there's no doubt that the factors in the numbers, right? There's absolutely no doubt that it works. You guys, the people, my vendors, my clients, vote. That's it. Bottom line. What's Brendan got to say? I'm interested. Brendan is just, honestly, we need to get Brendan on our show.
We need to get him on. He's a weapon.
We do. I need to tell the story about Brendan one day. If the same sale price is the same time frame, otherwise you might just get what you pay for. Yep, I agree. Is cheap important to you? And I'm always saying to prospective vendors, if all of us agents were the same commission, who are you going to choose?
Yeah.
Super important.
Big question.
Mark,
What's
I
next,
want to finish off talking about you. Tell us about what you're doing in the country with your best mates.
Well, we started a chat group called Steak Aficionados. So every time we cooked a steak, whether it was on the smoker or however it was, we shared it with each other. And some of us didn't know each other, so I put this group together. There's about 8 guys in there. So we decided to have an annual conference and do a cook-off as to who could cook the best food. So it's pretty much Friday. Some guys came last night. Some guys are coming at lunchtime. And then we're just cooking steaks.
They're cooking steaks. And can we just talk about the demographic of who the people are? Because these guys, they're all absolute legends. They're all people that I know very, very well.
Yeah. So we got builders, developers. We've got Mr. Vance. We've got Mr. Scarf. He's in the scenting business, like makes hotels smell nice. That's his business. We've got a Mark Conway, mortgage broker. We got
Mark's got a leg up though, because he used to be a chef. I reckon he's got I have to say, his steak last night, he was putting all of this like tons of butter with garlic, and they were melting it over the steaks. I was like,
yeah. I sent the video to Lee. And then there's couple of other guys that are coming up today, developer, Pierre, and yeah, all good. It's fun. Bit of
Sounds like
scotch.
there might have been a few scotches that went along with that.
Just a little bit of scotch, just a little bit. But
Gotta have fun.
Steak Aficionados Conference.
Mark, I'm going to call it here, and I want everyone else to hear this. What you guys are doing with your steak off, you need to get it on TikTok. It's going to go off on there.
Really?
Yes, get it onto TikTok. Honestly, I reckon it'll go off. Put it on there. And I'm just calling it out here because when I say I told you and that was my idea, you won't claim it.
Oh my God. All right. we'll see how it goes.
Get it on TikTok.
We'll see how it goes.
So good. Have a ball. Steaks for breakfast.
Steaks for breakfast. I was just trying to put a photo up of some of the food from last night, but I'm struggling. So anyway. Have
put
a
it
good
on
day.
your post. Yeah, you too. Have fun. Have fun. Thank you, guys. Bit of a contentious one this morning. As I said, not throwing daggers at any one agent in particular.
No.
It's the stuff that you guys are saying to us, and we're just drawing attention.
Every day. Absolutely. And you know what? The most part agents are doing a brilliant job, and a lot of these guys are nailing this, but there's some that are struggling, and you should know before you've chosen them. Hopefully this will help.
Agreed.
See ya.